It's have characters that are a bit crazy, but not in crazy like crazy. So
Mm,
oh, crazy, but more
yeah.
crazy in. Oh, oops! I started my start podcast.
Yeah,
um.
there's so much anime with crazy characters.
Yes. So I
It's a
started.
trope.
Yeah. I started the podcast, by the way. Um. So hey everybody. I'm today with somebody new again. Um. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit
Um,
for
sure.
everybody?
So, hey everybody, my name is MeggGawat. I am from the Philippines and I've been vegan for 13 years. I've lived in 4 different countries and I work as a professional software developer. And my interests are exercising, and from time to time, I play some video games and I watch some manga. Right now, I'm learning to make some games using Unity.
Mm,
I hope that
it's-
was a good introduction.
yeah. Okay. So, do you want to talk a little bit about your work?
Sure. So the work I do is mainly web development. It's something I got into in childhood back in the early 2000s when there was still no social media. So if you wanted to have an internet presence, you had to have a website. So when I was in third grade or so, I learned how to develop a website. And then I had my first domain name back in 2004. And it was coolmeg.tk. And it's archived under the web archive, Wayback Time Machine. And as a interesting piece of internet history as an early website. And then from there, I would develop different websites, personal websites, websites for different groups, friends, and by the time I was a senior in high school, one of my websites actually received, I think it was like, I'm not sure which order of magnitude, but it was like, I think it was like 1 million visitors per month
Oh, that's
at its peak.
that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, that it was just a thing I did after school. Every day after school, I would work on my website. I'd post something new every day, so I'd do some artwork or like post up a story, and I'd work on different creations and just post them up. Um, and that was what I did after school most of the time, and browsing the internet as well.
Okay. Oh, not that one. So,
Hmm.
so, what are you doing from day to day?
Oh, from day to day.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So I have a list of different exercises that I do per day. So when I wake up, I usually start with my to-do list. So I brush my teeth in the morning, I check my weight, and either I either I prepare a meal or I start doing some of my exercises. So there's a bunch of different workouts I do. I try to target every part of my body. So I do pull-ups, chin-ups, dead hangs, a plank, wall sit, squats. Um, I do skull crushers. I do overhead presses, push ups, jumping, stretching. So I have all these different exercises that I do throughout the day. It's not just in the morning. And then for cardio, I would do some shadow boxing with a VR headset. There's different workout games in there, and one of them is that boxing. So I play that one, and it gives me a good workout where my heart rate's above 130. And the rest of the day, if it's a weekday, I would work on something related to work. So I would do some web development work for a client, and some I try to study at least an hour a day as well on learning a new skill. So, like I said, I'm currently studying Unity for video game development. So I try to spend an hour per day doing that, and that's just an extra thing that will add up over time. Um,
I
and mhm.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
And yeah, other than working and learning, I'm exercising, and I guess at the end of the day, I'm talking to some friends online, and then I go to sleep.
Okay. Um,
So,
I remember.
and that's usually my day.
Okay. Um.
Seems pretty.
So,
pretty
what kind of
mhm.
what kind of game do you want to make though? Also,
Yeah.
if you're getting better Unity,
What was the second question?
if you're getting better at Unity, what kind of game are you wanting to make?
Okay, got it. Um, so I want to improve my skill at making mobile games, and I'm extremely a beginner at Unity. I'm taking the most beginner courses you can imagine. I was doing this other I was using this other platform called Godot, which is a rival to Unity,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have as much support for different platforms as Unity does.
Okay.
So I decided to switch to Unity like a few days ago. So I'm a complete beginner at it, and what I would like to improve is my mobile development ability. So I'd like to use Unity to make mobile games
Okay.
and possibly even apps.
Okay. Do you want to? So do you also want to make a game? So uh, what kind of mobile game do you want to make?
So right now, I think I would like to make a math game.
Okay.
So it's just another quote unquote hobby that I have is doing some math problems, like mental math problems. So on this one game that a friend made, he's vegan as well. He made this one math game, and I'm rank one in every single category in his game. He has like a leaderboard rankings about who can solve the most math problems, who can like who can get the most right in a row, and who can solve the most in a certain time limit, and so on. And I am first place in all of his topics by a lot. And I guess I'm just really interested in that subject.
Mhm.
For example, I have everything from 1 times 1 up to 20 by 20 memorized,
Okay.
and so I'm doing problems that are like 20 by 20 to 30 by 30 now, and there's not really any games out there that allow you to do that. So I want to make a game that can have these sort of different levels and like appropriate for different skill levels.
Okay, so you want to make a game about math? You want to make math fun
Yes.
for also? Because most people
Yeah.
find math not fun.
hmm Well, I don't know if it's gonna be a fun game. It's a very niche subject,
Okay,
right? It's just gonna display numbers on the screen and like a problem, and then you have to solve it mentally.
okay,
But one thing that isn't available in any math game right now is like a voice feature. So every single math game at the moment, you have to type the answer in. There's no games where it reads a question to you out loud and you respond by talking back.
okay. Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a difficult feature to add, but it would be an interesting one to add if I could get to that skill level to do that.
Mhm. Um. So
hmm
you told
And
yeah
mhm,
you told me also that you were living in multiple countries as a vegan also.
mhm.
Do you want to talk
Yeah,
also a bit about it and how that was and how that is?
sure,
What countries you
sure,
think were harder than others?
sure. So I went vegan back in 2012 or 2013,
Yeah.
back when I was in college. And at that point, I had lived in the United States for like 9 years,
Okay.
but something like that. But prior, and I wasn't a U.S. citizen at the time either. So it would take like a couple more years after that before I got my citizenship.
Okay.
But before that, I was born and raised in the Philippines. And at some point, my parents had a contract to go to another country, which was Fiji,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is it's like a British Commonwealth territory. I think
Yeah.
something. I think I don't know if it is or is that maybe my history and understanding of it is wrong, but it belongs. It's some. It's part of some other larger nation,
Yeah.
and yeah, I lived there for around a year,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a bunch of foreigners as well. So not only Fijians, but a lot of like a lot of different races were there too,
Okay.
and that was in I was in kindergarten there. And what's interesting is they taught us like the Adam and Eve story as a fact.
Really? She told you that that was a fact?
Yes, yes, they taught it as a factual event.
That is funny.
They taught it in kindergarten that it was a true story, and same with the rest of the Bible.
Oh my.
Yeah, and that was an interesting time growing up. Um, then after that, we moved back to the Philippines, and then eventually the United States. And it would take like a decade before I'd stop eating animals. But it was in high school where I got exposed to veganism for the first time. One one of my teachers was vegan. He was born and raised vegetarian and became vegan, and he would he was a great influence in me eventually stopping harming animals,
Okay. That is nice to hear.
because he would actually, I don't even remember this that well, but he would describe what happens to animals and it would just be so horrifying. He was like a really amazing guy. living in such a carnist world, because even I was a carnist at the time. So he would say things I would eventually come to understand later, right? Like there was one point we had to dissect minks, and and he didn't like that he had to teach that topic at all. It was something that disgusted him. But me and all the other kids, me and most of the other kids were there were some kids that also didn't like it, and they had forums to exempt themselves from that activity. But me and some other kids were like so happy, quote unquote happy, like digesting these minks that were like tortured and killed in cruel ways.
Yeah, that's
And
yeah. I don't know why they're still used as, because animal models are basically really not that reliable.
yes, exactly. I don't think I learned anything from
Yeah.
dissecting a mink.
Have you
And besides of
yeah.
how, mhm,
Have you ever heard of
besides,
Dr. Jerry Vlasic?
I've not.
He's a really interesting guy. Actually, he's an ex-vivisectionist and editor
Mhm,
of the North American Animal Liberation Press Office.
nice.
One of them
That's
also,
interesting.
and he defends the Animal Liberation the Animal Liberation Front, and
Yeah, that's excellent.
he is also one of the spokespersons also for the for
Mm,
that's there that sometimes gets asked about stuff why the elf
like
was doing
digest.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I don't find any benefit in dissecting
Yeah,
animals.
he
Like,
he calls animal testing and frauds. So
yeah,
he was told when he was a young doctor that he was that was really important to show. But
yeah,
later he learned that something like 96% of the animal research was not really useful for humans,
yeah.
and
Exactly.
there are far more reliable models like in
Yep,
Durga, and also 3D models also. There are
yep.
3D models also for dissecting also,
Mm-hmm,
at least today.
mm-hmm,
And there is also um this is maybe controversial.
mm-hmm.
There, I mean,
Yeah.
humans. I mean,
Mm-hmm,
humans are the best source for human medication to test
exactly.
on.
Exactly.
Because even in different sexes of animals, so
Yeah.
you can get total different results. So there is some kind of gene experience so that they did to mouses, and they were seeing that female mouses reacted different on certain kind of gene expression medication.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's not an effective way
Yeah,
for us to gain knowledge is by experimenting on animals
yeah,
for medical research. For that
yeah.
applies to humans.
Yeah, it can also give you really bad results, and it can give you the idea that something is safe for humans while it is not.
Yep. Exactly.
That's why
So.
that's where Dr. Gary Vlasic is also talking about.
Mm-hmm,
I also wanted to
mm-hmm,
interview him once, so I need to try to look up how I can find his email or so. Would be an
yeah.
interesting one also to try to interview.
Exactly. That would be a fun interview if you ever got him on board.
Yeah,
So, so my biology teacher was extremely knowledgeable and intelligent. It was one of my most educational classes that I've experienced, because he would pretty much know anything about related to biology. He would just have an answer for it. And at some point, I think he told me in a friend, because my friend was super concerned about animal rights as well. One of my friends became vegan actually in that classroom, and my friend was upset at me because I wasn't vegan.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it would have been so much nicer if I went vegan on the spot with him.
Yeah.
But I still remember
What will?
eating animal products, and he was like, "Meg, what are you doing? Like, I thought you said you would be vegan." And it's just because it was such a hard habit to control. Like, I couldn't control myself. I didn't know what else to eat or what else was available.
I mean, you were. Yeah, I think you. Uh, if you look back now, you can just ask. You can just ask. I don't know exactly why you. Probably your friend was in the same situation at first, and then he did find. Oh, I can do eat this. That I can do eat it.
Yeah,
So
he was. I was like his best friend at the time too, and he was my best friend. And yeah, I think he was upset at me because of that. I still have memories of him going like, "What are you doing? I thought you said you would be vegan now." And I actually made, because I also did some video editing and stuff like that. I actually made like an animal rights video too during that time. And it was I would download footage of like animal slaughter footage and put them and made like videos of them. And so I'd see them up close, and I just didn't know what else to do. For some reason, like I knew it was wrong, right? What I was doing, but I couldn't control myself at the time.
so
And yeah, it wouldn't be until, so I know your question was about the different countries I've been to, and I'm
yeah.
kind of getting to that, but like so I went vegan like a year later in college. I actually had a dorm floor where there were a lot of vegetarians and vegans on my floor. Like half the floor was vegetarian and vegan.
Oh, interesting.
It was it was so I was part of this leadership community, and half of the floor was a sustainability community.
Yeah.
So there was a group of people who were interested in business, and the other group was like into sustainability. And the sustainability group, a lot of them were eating plant-based diets, and you got to interact with them a lot. So the reason I went vegan though was because initially of health issues, because I was suffering through some either stress or some heart-related issues, but I would just feel like a tight constriction around my chest, around my heart area. Um, I think it would be what it's called, angina.
Yeah.
I was a teenager, but I was obese,
Yeah. I was
and
just scrolling. I was just scrolling your X account, and so
uh-huh.
and I was seeing pictures of you. So when you were saying that you were obese there.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. So in high school and college, I was obese, and so I had all these heart problems from. And I thought animal products were okay at the time. I saw this one episode of Penn and Teller. He has a show called BS, and one of the episodes was about how like fast quote unquote fast food was actually okay to eat and it's healthy, right?
That's what they were
And so
saying.
I was like, okay. So I was like, oh, okay, so then it's fine just eat fast food, and I wrecked my health that way. And one of the people running the show actually, um, Penn Penn from Penn and Teller, he adopted a plant-based diet too. So that's pretty interesting that he advocated for fast food, like animal products, and then that got me onto fast food as well. and animal products, and then we both became plant-based eventually after we realized, oh, this is actually not good for our health after all.
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah, I can hear you still.
Okay. I thought I cut off for a second.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I had heart problems, and I still remember this one memory I have where I was studying in the library, and you could check out like a private room. So I checked out like a private room. It's like a tiny office that you can schedule, and no one else can come in at that time. And so I had like rooms booked all the time to study, and I was eating some burgers, and I just felt some incredible pain in my chest. And I know it sounds dramatic, but I literally like fell to the floor and was grasping my chest from some pain. And then I threw the burgers away that then and there. And then I was like, what am I gonna do now? And eventually I found one of Dr. Michael Greger's videos on how not to die.
Yeah.
It was like uprooting the leading causes of death video from 2012. And that video made me just adopt plant-based diet from then on.
Okay.
And I also emailed
Yeah.
Dr.
Is that
I,
already?
what were you gonna say?
I didn't know that this book was already so much years ago. I didn't know.
What happened?
With the book of Dr. Greger, How Not to Die, as I remember when that did come out.
Yeah. No, it wasn't the book How Not to Die. It was like videos and topics leading up to his book.
Okay.
There was a video he published called Uprooting the Leading Causes of Death.
Okay.
Published he uploaded that in 2012. It's about 2 hours long, and it's a lecture about how essentially all the leading causes of death are from animal products.
Yeah.
And
I
yeah, so
that. I think I posted
yeah,
such also on social media.
yeah.
Around that
From
time.
that video topic, he wrote How Not to Die. Like it's essentially similar topics. Like he writes that the video is about to what the book is about. That's why I got the two mixed up.
Right.
But I didn't mean How Not to Die.
Okay.
But yeah, so after that I quit animal products then and there. The cafeteria had an all-you-can-eat buffet, and they had a salad bar. So I would just go to the salad bar and eat the salad bar stuff. And if I got pasta, I would just get pasta with the tomato sauce only and no meat. And that was a pretty easy transition, I would say. And I still live with my parents, so I'd go to my parents' place, and we would buy meat substitutes from Costco. At the time, they had these veggie burgers. They were literally like green burgers made from vegetables, and they were so good. I would just replace all my meat and animal products with them, and that was such an easy transition. And then I just lived that lifestyle from then on. It was such an easy change. And starting around 2017, my parents and I started to travel around to a lot of different countries. Actually, it started way before that, but we would only travel in the United States until then. So once a year during the summer, we'd go on vacation and go to like a different state or different place in the States. Like, for example, Las Vegas or New York or Yellowstone National Park or in Wyoming or like Florida or North Carolina. We'd go to these different places in the United States every year. But starting 2017 was when we started going to different countries, so traveling abroad. And since then, like I think we would travel on average like 3 or so countries per year, sometimes more. And if, especially Europe, if you go to Europe, you can travel like 5 countries in a single week, but you wouldn't be able to see a lot. But anyway, I traveled to around 30 countries that way and was vegan in all of them. So every country I've been to, except Fiji, I was vegan in, and it was easy in every single country. Even in the Philippines, where I had my family live in a very distant place from the capital. It's like 7 hour drive from the airport. So you have to drive seven from arriving in the airport. It's 7 hour drive to get to the remote places where my family lives in the Philippines. And even there, it was easy to be vegan because a lot of the local foods happen to be vegan. Like it's so strange. They just eat vegan there accidentally a lot of the time. There's no meat isn't added to every meal, and that was an interesting observation I made because I don't think it's something anyone else there noticed. But in the States, it's basically you have to add some. Most people add some animal flesh to whatever meal they're having.
I have heard that
But in other,
I have heard
Mhm.
that they also sometimes put animal stuff in products that normally don't have any animal products in them.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
is it true that they put pig blood in certain candies?
that's probably true, but that's pretty disgusting.
Yeah,
There, yeah, it's probably true, but I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of which candies would have that because the taste would be pretty bad. I imagine.
yeah. I think there's so much additives with it, so that you don't taste it or so.
Hmm.
Or they put it into blood powder or so.
Mhm.
Like they do it with
Possibly,
gelatin
yeah,
or so.
yeah, yeah. They probably do have some candies like that.
Yeah,
I'm not recalling it at the top of my head. And yeah, pig is a pretty common animal to kill there to eat. I mean, and I've it's pretty horrific as well. Like they have them skewered through their butt and mouth out of the mouth.
uh,
Yeah, it's horrible. It's like I saw that as a kid a few times. It was so terrible. Like it's so barbaric.
yeah,
And one of my family in the United States, like they married some of my relatives who are Filipino, and like for some like why would they order this same exact meal here? It's so barbaric. I had some family that did that here. And it was so stupid. I was like, what are these guys doing? Are they insane? This is
yeah,
just so barbaric and
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, just yeah, just abolish the stuff in your culture that is cruel, and then keep the stuff that is not. Yeah, doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Um, so, apart from the United States and from the Philippines, what country have you lived the most time in? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh. Uh. Oops. Sorry. Sorry. I have a air internet. I I did something and now I don't see your voice in here anymore. Yes. Can hear your notes. I can hear you.